How's it going, everybody? We are back with some Star Wars Retro OCS action here. This is one of the top 8 games, one of the last ones not to be played, but to be streamed. So we're doing it from the replay point of view. And this is the match between Bkippel, who I think was the 3rd seed, and mwfendt, who was the 6th seed. And I'm joined here with Timo Dylan, as you all might know him as, also one of the top players in the Retro OCS. I believe, Dylan, you were the 4th seed, is that right?
Yeah, I was tied with Bkippel, but then the tiebreaker put him in front of me.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, so Dylan did really well overall in the Retro event for 2024. I believe you won at least one event that I can remember.
I won the first one, and then the Cloud City event, I went like 54th place, and that's what put me in the tiebreaker. And the other one went pretty good also, yeah.
Nice.
But this Cloud City, hopefully not coming back.
Unfortunately, I do think a lot of people enjoy that format. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So this is game 1, and just as a I guess note, we're going to be blurring out the verifies from the other player. So if we're looking at mwfendt's point of view here, we're going to be blurring the verifies of Bkippel's deck. So you might see either interruptions in the stream, in the video, or blurring of some sort, and that's just so we get an even amount of information for all players who are still moving on into the top 4. So here we go, getting started. We see Bkippel starting with raw tier operations and Matt with echo base operations. Let me slow it down a little bit. So Timo, just starting off right off the bat, what are you thinking if you're either of these players?
So if I'm ROPS player, I think it's very good to have the drain reduction, and if he plays something like the drain bonus canceller, how is this effect called?
Imperial Decree.
Then all drains will be 0. It depends on the build of the EBO. If it's more a main kind of thing where he wants to get the activation from the effect, then we can have a little bit of ground battles, and if not, I probably would set up something like Search and Destroy and just ping him out and make all his drains 0. And maybe in the late game invade EBO, invade Hoth. Especially this effect which cancels all strain bonuses. You only need to control two rebel base locations, and Hoth is a rebel base location, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you just need to control 2 Hoth sites, and all the bonuses are cancelled.
Yeah, that's. I think one of my games I played ROPS against an EBO deck, and that was basically my plan. Just set up on the ground. They probably don't have enough ground to come at me, and then I run Decree as well. You can basically lock down the game and then just drain them out.
And then you have every time to walk in even further to cancel EBO if you want.
Yeah, and usually you have enough people to do so. Usually pretty heavy on characters and even vehicles.
Yeah, probably a lot of troopers we will see. So that's interesting. He plays a lot of those aliens, which can put a card back onto his use pile to draw a card. Pretty interesting.
Some builds run that. I'm too slow to catch these the verifies for Matt. Maybe we'll get it in the next one. But yeah, I do see some builds they run Ishi Tibs because you can pull them with the Narshada Wind Chimes, which is a nice recyclable 5, and then of course you can start fixing your hand a little bit.
Yeah, and they're cheap to occupy 3 Hoth, 3 of the sites you need to occupy to deploy EBO.
Right.
And then in the late game you can even retrieve a bunch, maybe, if you have enough aliens.
Yeah, that's true. And then see, this is an interesting
the wind
thing
chimes
that I'll point out right now, and I've seen this game already. I don't know if you had a chance to catch it, but this is an interesting ad in the EBO deck that not very common to see a speeder, I would say.
Not in the retro versions. In open, I love the speeder version of EBO.
I know absolutely zero about open.
It's a good deck in open.
I might have to try it someday.
So Bkippel wanting the full activation package. I guess he probably has an out like a barrier or maybe the Tempest 6 to react. But something has to be there.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I mean he gets the plus from the deployment, but he could also come down. Are they? I can't see it in the screen capture. Are they ability 1 or ability 2 aliens? Ability 1, right?
They're ability 1, but
okay, no, it's not an option to go down with 4 to attack.
Yeah, but what Matt could do, and I've seen done sometimes, is they'll run like Twaska, maybe even a Milos, and that would have been a possibility. But like you mentioned, he probably has some protection, be it a barrier, maybe a Gick. Tempest Scout 6 is a good one too.
What was very interesting here from Matt, he put down his home 1 because he played launching the assault. So he got another card and he can pull home 1 again with the effect.
Right, and that's a I think a good play, right? Taking advantage of your pulls, because you never want to draw into hand a card that you could have pulled, because that's one less card you could draw.
Yeah, and less ships than you would expect from an EBO. It's just the 3 here.
Yeah, it's more of a
very big ones.
Big blue versus X-wings or something like that.
He runs the Falcon. Maybe we also see a legendary starfight at some point, but not in the very far here.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, very well could be. He does have some ground power, with like a Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got senses.
And a lot of sense.
Right.
No, there is no try from the Dark player yet, but the other effect makes the cards at least used.
Mm-hmm. And then once he flips, he'll be able to just pull it. So let's say he plays something good, gets sense, just pull it next turn if it's important, and do it again. Yeah. Very, very powerful objective, Raltier. You see Emperor come down with Simalu. He's probably going to move over and flip this turn. I think from the dark side perspective, light side wants to just kind of leave him alone and set up, get EBO set up, find your ships, and establish on a couple systems and start draining for 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I think dark side wants, like you mentioned, just to push damage as fast as possible, so to get your drains.
This battle plan is the perfect counter to all these low drains, and is also against this one side where you have to use +3 force to attack, but your battle plan says you attack for free. So that could be a surprise if Brad is not aware of that, but he probably is in the top 8.
Yeah. I'd imagine he...
So which side is it? As I said, it's I have the screen capture, so I can't enlarge.
Oh,
which side is the one where you have to use +3 attack?
Yeah, it's this one here, Swamp.
Okay. Yeah. Swamp.
So we see EBO gets set up by Matt here, and he pulled his home 1.
Oh, it's a dream combo. He has the Rook 3. He has the Wedge, and he has another pilot.
Yes.
To put him on the Rogue 3 that he can cancel the Destiny.
Right, and not to spoil it, but that is, I believe, going to be his plan. And for those who are not familiar with Roll Tier operations, one of the big benefits on the 7 side is they get +X to your total battle Destiny, where X is the number of locations Imperials control, or I think occupy, as we see Search and Destroy come out, occupy. But if you're canceling the single Destiny with Wedge, you get no benefit from that. And
yeah,
that's going to
be... What also works, by the way, is Carl. I don't know if he plays the Carl Fall, the 0.
Oh, right. Yeah, KFC.
So because it's adding to the total, but his total will be 0 if the other one drew a higher Destiny. And
yes.
That's
right. So Callfowl, Syndros, and like Ben Kenobi, for example, we see Grimtash, as Brad draws high, is a good combo as well, because you can also cancel the Destiny and mitigate or eliminate the...
Would you have played it Lost? I would have played it also used.
I would have played it used.
Because ROPS doesn't play a lot of multiples.
Right, I agree. I would do the same thing.
On the other hand, if I would be Bkippel, I would have played it lost, because seeing all these aliens and
I agree. I think that's a good point. The likely to see, and you already see, 3 duplicates. We've seen 2 Narshada wind chimes, so several duplicates for EBO, and it's not uncommon to run many. Whereas, like I said, ROPS, because they can pull a lot of things, usually just run a bunch of singles. And now here we see, as you were mentioning, the Dream combo, Rogue 3 with Wedge and the Raw tier Captain, not costing a lot of force.
There is Carl.
There is KFC.
Why do you think he put the Obi-Wan down, just to have a sense option?
I think so. I think he might have done it if he did it in the right order. That's kind of weird. I might have put Obi down first, because if he barriers the freighter captain, right, then that's kind of annoying. But
how much force does he have left?
5.
5. So he could also have put Obi-Wan down with a +2 from the deployment at the site and try to make a bunch of overflow.
That's
because
right.
He can cancel with this.
Would he have had enough force to do so?
If you say he has 5 left, it costs 7, right? Oh, it costs 9, and so he would have had would have had enough. 5 + 2 + 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, if it was at a different location, you mean?
If he has 5 left, so if he would have gone to RAL tier to his speeder bike, he would have paid 4 more, right?
Yes.
So, but he would have had 5 power more and maybe make a bunch of overflow.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. And in this case, maybe he wanted to save his force, I guess, because 4 extra forces.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot.
Maybe also he is aware that Bkippel wants to move in and wants to have a character there. Yeah, but
yeah, it could be. Like you said, one of the options late game is to invade. So there was one verify. We'll have to edit that out. Is you might start invading Hoth, and then if you run Decree, that's one way to turn it on if you can control these 2 locations. So what's interesting is it's already turned 5, and EBO is not really up and running yet, but he is causing a lot of pain or annoyance anyways to Brad with the speeder, because with the canceling, unless Brad overpowers him by a lot, he's not really going to be doing any damage to it.
He could try to at least flip him back if he deploys Falcon at Kifex and flies over to RAL tier.
Right. So I wonder
and he has a barrier to just in case if.
I wonder if that's exactly what we'll see. And it looks like Matt's doing a really good job here of causing Brad a lot of heartache here, and we do see order to engage. So Brad just moved away from the speeder, knowing that he really couldn't do anything to it. But with order, if he can find his order to engage, now we can start punishing Brad for doing that. But Matt effectively shuts off these 2 drains, and so Brad's only looking at 2 damage here, and he flips them back just like you said. Yep.
I might have done it a little bit cheaper with a Falcon, and but yeah, it's.
Well, if you do it with the Falcon, then you can maybe bait down a ship, and now you come down with home 1, etc. the following turn.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's getting
because now you have your best weapon basically stranded there and don't even satisfy battle plan. But maybe it's just a matter of taste. There are so many lines you can play, and it's not easy to say which one would be better a few turns later.
Right. Especially this game is so complicated, so non-linear. As one event will affect every future event that you've done based on how the force gets recirculated. So Brad flips back. We do see order to engage he drew, so.
But now he can flip him back again.
Yeah.
So that's if he would have played maybe the Falcon and would have buried the ship, he could have lay down a beatdown.
Yeah, he did play this though, which we didn't know about.
Oh, right.
So
I didn't miss that.
maybe he didn't want to risk that, because then he would have deployed, he would have flipped back, and then he would have wiped out the Falcon, no problem.
Did he play that a turn before, or did he play it before he put down the Dreadnought?
Before the Dreadnought.
Before the Dreadnought, yeah.
So here we see order to engage. He's gonna battle. So it looks like he probably tracked that from the previous turn. I wasn't paying attention. This is probably going to clear the site.
That's a good turn
Yeah.
from Matt. The only downside is that Brad is satisfying battle plan now.
Right. You know, I wonder if I would have just stayed there. I don't know. Flipping them back is really, really good. Right, to stay there to trigger the order to engage.
That's an option.
Yeah, very interesting. But you know, this speeder is really causing a lot of problems for Brad. So here we see big power coming to contest home one with a lot of forfeit, and of course Dengar canceling the immunity to attrition of home one.
And adding, right? Adding the total battle destiny, the Dengar, right?
Oh yes, adds one, just one, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have, he adds 4 in total. Oh no, he's flipped back, so 1.
Yeah, if he wasn't flipped, yeah, then this starts getting a
Then
little
it would
nasty.
be brutal, yeah.
So he loses the Nesby. Brad peels one guy, I believe. Yep, Sarkley. And Menace Fades coming down, which I don't think he needs to play.
We'll probably put it down again.
Yeah.
With his guys.
Right, with Ishitib, although he drew up all the way.
Yeah.
Here we see a revert coming. Hopefully it doesn't break the replay. Oh no, yeah, he draws up, he can't.
You can't cancel the react with sense.
Yeah. So if I'm Matt, I think I just move in front, move away from this, because this is a little dangerous. We do see he lost Boba Fett and ship. There's probably a Zuckuss still in there somewhere. I'd probably just move away home one, maybe, or maybe just leave it there and. Okay, so he decides to move away.
Yeah, that's a good one, because if he now wants to flip back,
yeah,
he has to move there, and if he deploys another ship there, he has to battle or he loses 3/4.
right. Yeah, Matt's actually in a really good spot, and now he's going to start doing some damage, I think, here. Even the drain at Raltier, now that he satisfies battle plan, is, I think, he's not flipped, so 3 and 3, and then order to engage damage. So we see a drain at 2. He loses Boosh.
So he lost his second wind chime, so he doesn't intend to retrieve
Yeah.
with it. I don't think he plays more than 2.
Overseeing it personally. Oh, so there's where he wish he had his Menace Fades.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Darth Vader coming down. So now he's going to try to just overpower him. Even though he's going to get 0 battle destiny.
They can cancel both their destiny.
Yeah, if he had Igar, now it's a problem.
Igar.
But it doesn't have it, unfortunately. Matt draws a 5. Brad draws a 3. Just loses the Ishitib. So it kicks him off that location. Unsure if... Well, we haven't seen Decree yet, so... not sure if Brad would even be able to do it. Because if he runs Decree, this is a whole different game.
That's a bad destiny.
Yeah, Matt draws a 1. So he ends up getting overpowered even though he canceled the Battle Destiny and ends up having to forfeit his Raltier Freighter Captain. But
At
Brad
least
does-
he has another pilot in hand.
Yes.
To put it right back.
Exactly. It seems like this is probably one of his main strategies in the deck, and probably specifically for Raltier, and it's doing a really good job, is wedge with good pilots like this, decent Destiny, cheap.
Yeah. He has to attack right away again, because if he doesn't, he has to either move away or he will get much more overflow next turn, maybe.
Right. Well, Brad only has one card in hand, but who knows what it
Battles,
is.
he also needs to draw at least a 4 to not get overflow.
Right. Well, I think this... do we know what this is? It's the signal from the last battle, I think. Yeah, that was the battle that Brad did here.
Yeah.
So we knew that. Yeah, so Matt's... he's still a little bit of a chess game here as he's got to dodge these ships. But he's kind of in a really good position here.
Yeah. So can you... Raltier is Parsec 3, right?
Yeah,
2, 3?
Parsec 3.
3. Okay. Hoth is Parsec 6?
5, so I
5.
think everyone,
Okay.
everyone can
That's
move.
why you reached it. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't outmove the ships. So we see a drain of 1 because now overseeing it personally makes that a drain of 1 now. Several verifies. Again, we'll have to edit those out.
Oh, that could be some overflow, but probably just loses the Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Obi's just over here causing problems for his troops invading Hoth. So we see he draws a 4 for Battle Destiny. Not enough to break attrition, but probably enough, like you said, to overflow or cause enough battle damage where he'll just want to lose Obi anyways. Again, this is a match play, so differential matters, especially the in that situation you might have thought, okay, maybe I'll peel some and then battle him off and I'll still win the game. But in that case, it's probably worth it to just lose Obi, as we see Brad draws a 0, to lose Obi, and you still have a really good board presence and you don't take any additional life force loss.
So he knew he will draw a 0 because he had the verify, but he still didn't want to lose the 3/4.
Yeah.
And because of the total +1, the 0 is still a 1 and it causes something to lose from the ship.
That's right. Yeah, so Dengar actually being very good here, making even the worst of Battle Destiny draws meaningful. So he's chipping away at Super Home 1. Unfortunately, he had to spend most of his force, etc., to satisfy order to engage. And that's one of the things that can happen is you can get in a situation late game where you actually don't have enough force to battle everyone at all the locations. And then that's when order to engage can be very, very annoying to deal with.
Unless you have the battle plan.
Right.
Right. Battle order as Axa.
Right. And so now, finally, maybe for the first time, I think we're starting to see the big drains from EBO. And I think Brad, it looks like, isn't going to do enough damage to drain him out. So Brad right now is probably thinking he needs to lower Matt's life force count as low as he can in order to, as we see Alter going on order to engage, but Matt saving the senses all game.
Both go used though.
Yep.
So the sense and the altar from the effect.
Yes. Although it's gonna be kind of annoying for Brad to get it, right? He has to draw it and then use force on a different turn to cycle a card back, so he'll be able to draw Destiny. So right now the top card of his force pile is that altar. If I was paying attention
That
correctly.
could be a bunch of overflow now. I think it's forfeit 6, right? This guy.
Yes, forfeit 6. Draw the 3, so
2 overflow.
Yeah. And he loses Search and Destroy, which isn't a big deal. It wasn't doing anything,
No,
but
it's not a big deal.
it's Brad right now, I think, is just looking to minimize this number right here. So right now we see 11 in Matt's life force. Matt, on the other hand, wants to minimize cards that he's drawing up. He wants to keep that number as big as possible for the upcoming match. And Brad draws up a couple cards.
That's how I lost my top 8 game. I won the first one by 17, but lost the second one by more.
Oh, that's brutal, because that 17 is a healthy...
Yeah, it's a good hand, but I didn't have any anti-retrieval, and he played the Ty's hunt down, and he just retrieved all his force with playing Ty's, and then...
I saw that game. Well, I think one thing that was very bad for you is that you lost your hidden base, I think, very early.
I lost from the first ping. I pulled my Honor of the Jedi and thought, okay, I can risk one, and I knew that it's risky. But I didn't want to get rid of any hand cards because I wanted maybe lay a beat down with the 3 ties I had in hand. But yeah, I lost my hidden base.
So it was probably like a 1 in 50 some chance.
Probably would still have lost, but against this deck. But yeah, anyway, there is the game. So it's not about my games, but here, what's the differential? Can you?
Yes, it is also 11, and then force or lost pile, excuse me, is 37 to Brad, and 19 for Matt. So let me.
So Brad has to either win by 12, or he has to win by 11 with less cards and lost pile.
Yes.
Lost pile differential, yeah.
Yes. So adding on the stream here, a little plus 11 for Matt. And now let's move on to game 2. So that was really interesting. I'd say the MVP of that game was that speeder with the order to engage and wedge. Did a lot of work.
Very good take.
Okay, so game 2. Now opponents switch sides. Now Brad is now playing light side. He starts with a throne room, 3 effect start, and Matt is now playing Raw Tier. So Matt looks like a very similar start in terms of his Raw Tier. Basic Imperial Restorator, Mob Points, Oppressive Enforcement. Bkippel, though...
That's interesting with the Force Lightning. You don't see that too often.
But
it could be very strong with a masterful move to track 6 and then choke a Luke or Obi-Wan.
That's very true. Yeah, this could do some work. Also good against spies, undercover spies that tend to be a little bit annoying for Raw Tier as well. Running Oppressive...
But it's not too big of a deal because you only drain for 1 most of the damage you want to do by battling.
Right, because your battling is so effective against your opponent.
With all the looping back of cards from the EBO, I probably would have played a surprise strike in the light side deck if I expect something like a trooper ROPS or something that could be really brutal.
That's a good point. Yeah, with the ability to stack your destinies with issue tips or Narshada even, one surprise assault, especially, I don't know about you, but I anticipated a lot of Raw Tier operations. So that definitely would have been a good add, I think.
Yeah, it's a very solid deck in that format.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have make a guess, I would have said probably bring him before me and ROPS.
Yes.
Not too much hunt down because of no escape and the Honor of the Jedi.
Right.
But then on the other hand, the version who played against me was very interesting with the ties. It was very easy for him to satisfy 3 battle plans to shut down Honor of the Jedi. So you can make such a hunt down version, but a hunt down version will only play mains and only play 1 or 2 battleground. It's not making the cut against Honor of the Jedi.
Right. And he doesn't, in his version, doesn't even really worry about retrieval little ping damage because he just retrieves it anyways, which is great in a match play situation. But so looking here, we see Matt pulls Rendili, and
I saw Undercover Spy, and I saw Suckers, and I think that's what I saw in that quick verify.
I basically missed all of it. So we do see, interestingly enough, Anger, Fear, Aggression coming from Brad. that gets immediately canceled with projective telepathy. Anger for Aggression, really nasty card. I think a lot of... Well, it gets used quite a bit, I think. And it's very annoying to deal with if you... depending what the opponent's deck is.
And in that format, you have to run a bunch of anti-cheese cards, and that's one of the things you have to run to cancel that. And the other one is something against numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that effect. Or the Revolution Canceller.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah, a lot of...
Also would run a bunch of spies, like all the Imperial spies you can get, because I got beaten against the nudie version where they just cancelled all my force icons, and then you need a spy to get rid of these guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of cheese.
So we miss the action here. We miss the beatdown on the on Bkippel.
I just paused it because we were having fun talking about all the cheese that you can face.
Yeah.
Couple things that just noticed. So Brad drops Tatooine Docking Bay. He's running the 3 effect start staging areas build. Docking Bay to me screams like Beggar Draw the Fire, especially if it's Tatooine. He is running a spy. Throne Room likely will run cards like this, like a couple of the spies.
Probably also Fallen Portal.
Yeah, definitely Fallen Portal, because they're going to be living at the docking bays. He wants to get a bump from activation from the Twix sites as well as from staging areas. But in this situation, he saw a chance to pounce on DS-181-3, who is alone at this docking bay. One of the strategies in some throne rooms is force denial, and this, of course, will deny him 2 force in addition to, loses a card and potentially some overflow. But in this case, no overflow. We do see home 1 come from the Destiny draw from Brad, so anticipate there's also like launching the assault. Maybe there's a Kessel in there. I don't know.
It's not too bad to have your guys stranded there, because there are no shields, so you can't pull like a coward shield that the force drain at non-battleground sites is cancelled.
Right.
On the other side, he's hurting himself with the battle plan, right?
Yes. He. It's going to be a little annoying to what to do here now, because he's gonna. Do you want to spend 9 force to get out of here? Do you revolution it to move away? As we see.
But he also does get the activation bonus, right, from occupying.
That's true. That's true.
So
right.
It's like a really good activation bonus for him.
Right. That's a very good point, because it was basically a 4-point swing in activation from winning that battle, right? Because he gets +2 from staging areas, and Fendt loses the +2 because he no longer controls that docking bay. And we see Bad Feeling Have I coming down.
So I would probably try to flip right away. He has the Osel, he has something which draws if not able to otherwise with a scout, and he can react. So why not go for the flip right away?
I think so too. And he has projective telepathy. It's quite expensive to come down to raw tier, and so he could save a force, and there you go. There's the flip.
And then he can maybe try to pull a ship to satisfy battle plan, because you can't afford to pay to drain with only 9 force.
Right. And there we see the Beggar. Interesting that Matt saved 2 force. Maybe he was anticipating a Beggar, or wanted, 1 for the projective, 1 for the react. Or maybe it's 2 for the react. I can't.
So more force denial here with the revolution.
Yeah.
I was talking about it, that you need the canceller. The good thing with ROPS is if you are flipped, you can get away with all the one-offs, because you can pull them if you need them.
Right. And that's the key, right? Is if Raltier is flipped, very, very good deck. If they're not, it can tend to struggle, as we saw in last game, right? Brad wasn't flipped for most of the game, and he wasn't able to, pull his answers.
So what I'm thinking here is, so the Blizzard, the Tempest 1 can react for free, but if he plays Sense, he can cancel the reaction.
Right.
and then he can lay down a brutal beatdown with the beggar.
Yes. So the last thing Brad needs is draw their fire.
16 force.
Yeah, the activation difference here is pretty massive. It looks like he's coming down with home 1 though, turn 1. You did call out that he pulled a ship with his Raltier pull to satisfy battle plan.
And I didn't watch that game. I watched the first 3 turns of the other game, but that's just what I would have done.
Yeah.
Try to pull.
Well, it makes sense to me too. I would probably do something similar because, paying 3 to drain for 1 is kind of annoying and maybe not something you want to do. But then the minute you satisfy battle plan, now you're draining for 4 for free. That's pretty good.
Does he have launching the assault out?
Yes, he does. So this is going to be a drain of
1 because 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Yeah, 1 cancels this.
You can't really attack that. I mean, with Sakis, you could try to crack the immunity if you track what would you need. You get +4. He's immune to 10. Ooh, that's you need your masterful move.
That's right. But I anticipate here we might see an invasion of Raltier.
Or a Forlom. Forlom on the Sakis to draw 2.
Yeah, Forlom with concussion rifle. That'll do it, because then 4 plus 2 destinies, that's pretty likely to do it.
But does he have the other Mon Calamari Grad? Did he put it on that he needs ability 6? Is it this one?
I don't. Yes, he does. So that wouldn't work. That's a good point. That would not work. So and he's not activating that much force either. He'd have to save up force, but then it'll all just get begged away. So Brad's in a pretty good spot here. Even though Matt is flipped.
But now he loses immunity, but he would lose... Oh, he didn't attack.
I think he's still...
Because he wants to trigger the order to engage.
Right, and I think the counter beat's a little scary, right? Because if he attacks and then he loses Leia, Matt is flipped.
With the barrier, it's...
That barrier is annoying. I think without barrier, he would have battled here.
Yeah.
So let's see. Matt draws.
So all these reacting ATST don't really work because he needs to attack and not react to the attacks of the opponent.
Right. And so he's kind of in an awkward spot, right? You don't want to attack. You want them to attack, but you need to attack because of order to engage. So Brad, I think is just totally fine. He decides to move. That's interesting. Yeah.
Because he moves to his home 1 docking bay for free, right? So then he can. He moved from. Since he played Revolution to move away for free from the. That's what it was.
Okay, so here comes blast door controls. In hand.
I guess he did it to now move them from the docking bay to his home 1.
Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if he just wanted to save his guys and now he's going to bring them back to Raltier once now he has more forfeit fodder. Because...
Do you think he moves his guys to the home 1, or do you think he moves his guys to Raltier docking bay from the Hoth docking bay?
Yeah, one thing he could do, now that you mention that, is put him on home 1 and then shuttle him down to a different location. Shuttle him down like the forest.
You could do that, but then he would give up the battle plan.
Yeah.
The satisfying of the battle plan.
That's true. I think alternatively, you bring, now that you have more forfeit, you bring everyone back to the docking bay. So here comes the battle with the react. And so now what's going to happen, he's going to just be able to move with home 1 to...
Yeah, he wanted to flip him back. So we will see that what you said. But if he shuttles up, he needs to shuttle down another guy
Right.
because he can't move to his ship, I think, and shuttle down.
Yeah, and Tycho's, a little scary by himself. He doesn't know he has battle blast door controls. So maybe he moves him over, collects everyone on the spaceport docking bay, or maybe he,
That's also true. Also possible, yeah.
yeah. But he did what he needed to do, which was just flip him. So we'll see how he ends up consolidating here. So, yeah, we see the move over with the flip. Either he's going to shuttle guys down, which I don't think he would do that. He instead moves them back to roll tier and shuttles a couple guys down. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And he lets Blonde at the docking bay for the activation. I mean, maybe he saw in the verifier that there are not many spies, because there are some spies. You could also run alien spies. You're not it's not forbidden in ROPS.
Yeah, Mara is one that I would commonly see. That's kind of interesting.
Then there is the one which cancels the force activation if he's at a non-battleground. It's also a spy, Imperial. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think which one you're talking about.
If you go down to a non-battleground with him and he controls that side, he cancels the force activation of the opponent at that side. But I don't know the name.
I can't think of the name.
I'm researching while you go ahead and cast.
So this was an interesting move. I don't know if you caught what Matt just did. So he drops down Zuckuss. So he drops down blast door controls to not get barriered. Drops down Zuckuss. Eats the order to engage damage just so he can flip back. That's kind of an interesting line of play.
Captain Zarkly is the name.
Zarkly, okay, yeah. And that's one you would see in ROPS. I think that's a good card in ROPS, I think. So what do you think about that play? That was kind of interesting, I thought. So he essentially reveals his hand with blast door controls, drops Zuckuss at raw tier, doesn't battle, and then moves Vader over just so he can flip back.
That was a good play, I think.
Okay. It's kind of, it was a little interesting because you end up eating 3 damage. Bear in mind he has to.
But he's possibly saving also, at least if he flips and he pays to drain Bkippel, he's saving 2 force by eating 3.
Right. And I guess one thing to think about too is Matt doesn't have to win, he only has to lose by 10. So he has to get Brad down to 10 cards, and then he can lose. So there's the draw their fire with an on the edge. So I think he tracked that.
So I never play a ROPS without that trooper, which subtracts from the retrieval. I think it will subtract 3.
Yeah, Fenson, Navy Trooper Fenson. Yeah, I like that one too.
Anywhere safe at a docking bay, not battleground docking bay, with some react stuff in hand so that he's safe. And I also like the system where you can retrieve a trooper. So if you lose him, you can retrieve him back, because you can't make them retrieve all the time with on the edge or on the other.
Right.
What's the other one?
Off the edge.
Off the edge.
All right. So we see. It looks like Brad's getting ready to maybe invade Raltier again. I imagine he'll move. Well, he got barriered, so he won't move yet. But this was an interesting. Oh yeah, okay, there he goes. Yeah. So similar to, Wedge and the Raltier pilot on the speeder, Wedge and Tycho is a great combo, of course, because it can cancel the battle destiny, which again eliminates the bonus from the 7th side.
Did we also see the leader, or was? Oh no, that was the other deck, the EBO, the red leader.
Right.
It could work.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know if Brad plays that guy or not. Brad loses another AFA. So I don't think we've actually seen any AFA damage, interestingly enough. I wonder... that's... you get in a situation where you have like 2 stacks that are not desirable to attack into, and then you can just drop Anger, Fear, Aggression, and then really punish them. And also with Order to Engage.
So if you wouldn't play Beggar, or if you don't want to play Beggar, I probably would run either the Cloud City Docking Bay or the Bespin Docking Bay.
Right.
Because of the always think about your stomach.
Right.
You always have to worry about that card in that format.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting at. That if I see Tatooine Docking Bay, there's better docking bays to play. One, like you said, is Cloud City. So why would you play
Only
this?
Beggar.
Right. Exactly. It's because Beggar.
And if you see Beggar, you also know there will be a Draw Their Fire.
Yes.
But I don't really know an answer to it. Do you know any answer to this combo?
I mean, Alter works decently.
Okay.
And then, it's tough. It's a very tough thing to deal with.
Because if you have something which activates one, you have to play it before the battle.
Right.
Before the battle base, and they can spend it again.
Right.
If they have enough in hand. And if during the battle you can't play anything to activate something because you have to pay one to play one.
It's very annoying and dangerous. Like I think one game, I was playing a throne room with Beggar, and the opponent was playing Raltier, and they saved like 10 force or something for the following turn. So I just dropped Beggar, used all their force, vomited a bunch of guys onto Raltier, and then said go, and they basically wasted a turn, giving me force. Very, very nasty card.
There was a time where Beggar was bugged, and the whole game crashed when Dr. Tosh played Beggar, and that was a beautiful time because it was banned because of the bug.
It was a glorious time for retro.
And so someone decided to code it again, and
someone who's sadistic. So now we're seeing kind of a bit of a back and forth. Brad's going to be chasing Zuckuss with home 1. See, that's another thing about deploying Zuckuss now is that, you flipped once, but now you're basically guaranteeing yourself ping damage from Order to Engage because you're never going to battle into this home 1.
Yeah.
And so you've opened the door for Order to Engage. You might have to honestly just land it.
You satisfy battle plan every 2 turns. But lose 3 every 2 turns.
Or every turn. Because he's going to move every single time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so, I'm going to just pause it here as a recap. So Brad needs to win the game by 12, and Matt needs to either win or lose by 10, if I'm thinking of that correctly. So
where are we at the moment? Which how many force left in?
Yeah, so Brad has 15 force down, and Matt has 6. And Matt's, like we just said, is taking the Order to Engage damage, and he's trying to whittle down the life force. But even though he has Overseeing It personally out to boost his drains, every other turn, as you mentioned, he's going to be able to pay for these drains because he doesn't really have a lot of force left. But he's also taking that Order to Engage damage. So that Zuckuss
he probably should just drop First Strike and suicide his Zuckuss to make a force swing of 2 and then just play the Gug.
Yep.
I agree. Yes, he's so low on force that he can't battle a lot. So if he would have, like as we said, battle plan, he at least could battle at every side Bkippel is going, but that will be a problem.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good play. Just suicide your Zuckuss right now. It's only a liability. It's actually like eliminating your ability to drain pretty soon here, and just causing you problems. So suicide it. Do the first strike damage. Now would be a good time to do it. If he moves home 1, now would be a perfect time.
Right. You said 6 force left?
6 force left.
So he needs 2 to attack, 1 battle destiny to. He doesn't need to draw even with Zuckuss, but would save at least 2 to swing with Wader
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
and you don't need the Battle Destiny there too,
Right.
but it doesn't do it.
Yeah. So I think that's
Maybe
right.
attacks without
I would have activated 1, and then attack here. Swing, draw Battle Destiny, and then Suicide Zuckuss with first strike.
Yeah. How much does he have left in Bkippel in his
So he's got 5 in hand and 13 down.
13? So if you attack twice with first strike,
So he'll lose 2 from hand.
the problem is you can't really pay to drain
Right.
with that amount of force.
Yeah, it's very interesting here that so Matt has this one battleground, right, Rendili, and Brad never deploys a battleground except Tatooine, and this is actually causing him a ton of problems. This single battleground, because it's opened up battle plan for his opponent. It's opened up the possibility for Home One to come down at all, right, without Rendili. If this is Wakilimu, Home One never hits the table unless Brad, drops Kessel or something. But this is causing him a ton of problems.
Yeah. He wouldn't even be able to deploy to Raltier.
Right.
Just if he has attentive, maybe.
Right. So it looks like he's probably going to do exactly what we said, just without the Battle Destiny draw. So he's not going to be able to swing, which probably doesn't matter, I guess. At this point, yeah, he just... If he had a... what wins the game here is like a limited resources. If he has that, right, he battles once. Brad loses, let's say from hand, limited resources, and then wins the game. Or he's still going to lose, but he's going to drop him below 12.
And then you could just draw up or something like that.
Right.
Get him down.
So I know someone has mentioned it, but yeah, limited resources is a nasty card in match play for that reason, because you get into this weird situations where the opponent is just losing from hand, and you just need to push a little extra damage.
So if he would have been able to swing, would have been even not that bad of a battle.
Right. Because then you kill Wedge, and now you can start maybe kicking him off that location. But you don't. But now you have to worry about the first strike swing coming back at you.
Right.
And we see him pitch Insight to get Honor. Probably mainly just
for the first strike ping.
Yeah. Yeah, because excuse me, what he doesn't want is him to like suicide more guys in. Because again, Matt doesn't really need to win; he just needs to lose by a certain amount, and he's right at that limit. But Matt runs out of cards, plays Projective, gets drained for 2, and now he has enough.
Any pay to drain?
He has enough to. He's about to. Let's see. Yeah, he can drain for 1 because he got 4 force down. So unfortunately, Matt here in a situation he needs to do 3 points of damage.
I think he just shuttles down to the sides and forces him to attack.
Yeah, he's just gonna
with,
move over.
With the Honor of the Jedi, he doesn't even lose the force.
Right. Yeah, that interesting move for Honor. So I alluded it to last game, but in this case, he's spreading so wide now that he's not going to have enough force to battle, draw Destiny, and all that. And Honor of the Jedi is going to cancel the first strike ping. He's going to be able to retrieve, but then on the flip side, Brad's just going to be able to battle him back.
Yeah. Or clear if he draws high enough.
Right. And then we see the Beggar drawn for Battle Destiny. The pilot is not immune when in the vehicle because the vehicle is not immune.
Now that side is cleared.
And here we see first strike swing again. So Matt is retrieving, but he's losing his character's board presence in the process.
And Bkippel can afford to pay to drain.
Yes. Yeah, and
he's just draining for 3 now, and a 0.
Yeah, 0 for Battle Destiny, a little bit annoying, but you could just lose Blount, not a big deal. Yeah, Brad can pay to drain. He's got a drain of 3 here.
Alp can't even move.
Yeah.
Alp is...
Yeah, Palpatine's actually stuck. Overseeing it personally, not helping him right now. So he pays 3 to drain for 3. It's worth it. And I think, Matt
I would say probably 1 more, yeah.
Yeah. I think you just move away. He does this the first strike ping, so Matt can't even drain now. And he's just gonna lose Obi. There's the beggar again. Yeah, he'll just lose Obi, and Matt can't do anything. Has no force. He draws a 1. Brad's totally fine with that. He has to lose Ozzel, and yeah, it's at this point Brad's at 12, just enough force to overcome the plus 11 differential.
That's so close.
And then he moves Wedge, and that's kind of interesting.
He can cancel.
Yeah.
If he doesn't attack, he eats the 3 and dies. Now he retrieves 1, yeah, but
yeah, it doesn't matter. Still, and now he can drain.
Then
for
he
3.
can counter. He can't move away, and he can counterbeat and retrieve and ping for 1.
Yeah, that's true.
But he also can just drain him out.
Yeah, a couple different paths to victory at this point. It's essentially all but over. As long as he doesn't somehow lose an extra force.
I think for me it's strange to see that the top player on the top left is the dark set player.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's weird to me.
A little bit confusing, yeah.
Because mwfendt at the top in this part, but his deck is at the bottom. It's confusing to me too. And that's it. And then we see the concession from Matt, and Brad ends up winning by 13. So 2 higher than the differential from the previous game, and Brad ends up advancing to the top 4. So
great games. And what are the top 4 games? It's Dr. Torch against
Tony Duva, and that is happening.
Joe Herbie against Bkippel then.
Yes, and I think they're playing 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday. Joe and Brad. That's going to be streamed by Garrett. And then 1 hour later, so a little bit simultaneously, is going to be Dr. Torch and Tony Duva playing at 11 Pacific on Sunday, and I'll be streaming that game. Mm. So a lot of action.
Super Sunday.
Yeah, Super Sunday of retro games. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I enjoy watching these high-level games. I don't know about you, Timo, but it's very interesting and fun to watch.
True. So, yeah, thanks for having me, and we will do it again hopefully in the future.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on GIMP, and thanks again.